The best way to never get caught in a leg choke triangle is to follow the following rules. Keep both of your hands on top of his legs, or also both, but under his legs. If one hand is on top and the other is on the bottom, you will fall into a triangle. In almost all variations of the triangle, your opponent needs one of your hands inside his guard. Make sure that during the struggle only one hand remains on top. If the opponent is experienced enough, then he will easily finish you, and you will knock. When an opponent catches you on a triangle, the castle is rarely closed as it should. Let's say your hand remained inside, and the opponent threw a triangle. Usually the primary position of the lock is similar to this. It hasn't closed completely yet. It is at this moment that you need to straighten up, look up and stretch your whole body up behind your head. Here it will be much more difficult for him to close the castle to the end. When straightened up, there are several options for action. You can take off your leg like this. And it often works. Let's say you can't throw off your leg. Then, with both hands, squeeze the lower abdomen with all your might. In no case do not bend, because the opponent will immediately pull into a triangle. Here you should look all the time, at the ceiling, straightening up and pushing down with your hands, throwing it off yourself. If you wrestle in a kimono, here you can help yourself by taking his pants from the bottom, and with the other hand grab the lapel and throw his pelvis down. These two grips allow for better control and effort. At the same time, you need to straighten up as much as possible. It is already difficult to bend here. The opponent has already bent you. You can straighten the arm that is inside the triangle. If there is a kimono, then you need to grab the kimono. If there is no kimono, then clench your fist and rest against the floor near his head on the right side. Your goal is not to let his head turn. If you just stretch out your hand without stopping, then he will grab it and make a triangle with a lever. Two things prevent his attempts. First, get up on your feet and load it up. Shift your body weight onto it. Plus, the leg presses into his side with his knee. Secondly, a straightened arm does not allow him to twist on the lever. Then step over it and scroll. There is a risk when you step over him with your foot, he can catch you in another move. That is why you should try to pass his head as quickly as possible. Then go to side control. The hand goes under his head. You roll your opponent onto their back. And now you're in a side hold. The so-called last chance to leave. The triangle is closed. You cannot straighten up. Grab your opponent by the wrist with your free hand. If he is wearing a kimono, then it is better to grab the sleeve. So we block his hand and do not let him take our head and pull us down in order to make a choke. Then put your knee under your pelvis. With the other leg, rest against his armpit on the other side. Falling back, hold him by the wrist and push with your foot into the armpit. After the lock is thrown off, continue to press with the foot and tightly squeeze the hips so that it is harder for him to rise. Now the struggle will begin for who will rise to the top faster. Ideally, if you kick his legs and take a side hold.